Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Let's get started. All right, here we are. Now, I'm just an average guy, just like you. Nothing different. Now, this video is probably going to jump around a little bit because this was kind of on the fly. So, nothing real special. Got to have tunes. I tinker with all kinds of stuff, so you're going to see all kinds of crap in here that have nothing to do with teardrops. Hey, there it is. My roll of Phylon that I treasure. I'm not going to show you what's on the table yet. We'll go through all that. Buddy of mine, Jim Roy, gave me the idea. He makes really nice ones. This one is just a prototype. You know, electrical department, stuff like that. Nothing super fancy. All right, let's get on with it. It's supposed to be about some tools. So take a look right here, what's on the table. Okay, and this thing in front of you is just a drywall square. So I'm going to move that out of the way. With the addition of a jigsaw, I'm willing to bet that I could build a teardrop with everything you see right here. Think how? Well, don't overcomplicate things, just make it simple. All right, so here you see what I call the basic tools. Okay, as far as your tape measures go, if you don't know how to read a tape measure, they sell cheaters. That's what I call them. What a cheater is this is hard to do. It's got the smaller increments, I probably won't be able to get it to focus, listed for you so your measurements are more accurate. Okay, so just with that, good level, your safety equipment, of course, few electrical tools, a miter box, and wood saw, hacksaw, a drill, some drill bits, that's a little trim router. And then add in a jigsaw, which I just did. And now I'm pretty confident I could build a teardrop with just them simple tools. Would I want to? No. But you probably could. Well, you might need a few assorted wrenches here and there too. But you get where I'm going. Okay. So on with what I use, okay? I'm far from an expert. You guys, some of you may think that I am, but I'm not. Far from an expert. I'm definitely more than your DIY builder, but I'm not an expert. I learn something new every build. So, getting to tools, you don't need to spend a whole lot of money. As you can see, these are the tools I have used through all 10 of my campers that I've built. Ryobi, nothing special about that. This is a Harbor Freight trim router. It lasted about 4 builds. It still works. The switch is bad. You know, you get over here, you start getting into, now this is a Craftsman. Now, you know, with my background, I've always used DeWalt, Milwaukee, stuff like that. But this just proves 10 builds now that with cheaper tools you can still do it. Okay, you see here, this is, I call her Olga. She's a good router. Lasts me a long time. Harbor Freight. Here's some router bits. Now I tend to spend, these are cheap. These are Harbor Freight, but I tend to spend a little more money on those now. Anybody's ever want to know what that flush trim, bottom bearing flush trim bit looks like for a router? There it is. I need a new one, but that'll give you an idea what you're looking for. That's an expensive bit that I bought. I don't buy the cheap ones as far as that goes. My Craftsman, okay? I use this all the time. This one's all dusty because I pretty much don't use it anymore because that does everything that does and more. That is a Harbor Freight. That is a Harbor Freight. Okay, oscillating tool. That's a must-have right there. Like 15 bucks at Harbor Freight. 8 builds. So, you know, y'all can say what you want. And I'm not opposed to good tools either, let me tell you. I'm from here on out, I'm going to buy one good tool to replace one of my cheaper ones and then pass these on to my kid that wants to learn how to build. Hole saw set, I'd say that's required. Somewhere down the line, you're going to need that. The one in the gray box, Harbor Freight, 20 bucks, pretty cheap. Works well. They dull quick, but it's 20 bucks. You don't have a whole lot of money. You're only building one, not 8 or 10. So, or the average person is. So they're gonna do it for you. Okay. Now you get into pop-up camper frames and stuff and cutting them down to work. You're gonna need some woodworking or metal tools. Grinder, Harbor Freight, 8 builds, and a truck restoration. No problem. The Sawzall actually was given to me by Ben Meyer in the group. I appreciate it. I had a battery powered one and I was always waiting on batteries, and he gave that to me at one of the gatherings and I've used it ever since. Love it. That one there is, I believe it's a Porter cable, but Harbor Freight sells them too and I've used them. Like I said, you guys are building one. I built 10 and they've lasted so far. Okay, then we're going to go over here. This is probably, arguably, one of my most valued things that makes spars, for your hatch really easy. Cutting stuff. I cut metal with it. All kinds of stuff. This is a belt sander with a sander on the side here. I paid $2 for that at a yard sale. Clamps. Nobody can have enough clamps. For some reason, I tend to break the bigger ones, but I have been buying cheaper, so there's where you might want to splurge a little bit. Buy the better setup. See, I'm a DeWalt guy, really, myself. I mean, but so far, my only complaint with the Craftsman is batteries. These are the cheap batteries. They don't last real long. I have 4 of them, so it's not a big deal. I can keep them in rotation. And the chuck sucks. That I will say. But other than that, it works. Now I got these. I found them on sale at Lowe's. It was buy this and get a standalone tool for free. So for this little set right here, now I don't know if they're still running that deal. It was under $100 for both pieces with 2 batteries and a charger. This is the Craig jig. Let me tell you how much time this will save you if you can afford to just 30, 40 bucks and go and buy one. This is a pocket hole jig. Definitely one of my most used tools. So Black & Decker palm sander. I can't seem to find my belt sander. It's buried in here somewhere. But it's a Craftsman. It's an old Craftsman. And then you come over here. Uh-oh. Some people's going to get mad about this. That is a DeWalt stand. And guess what's sitting on top of it? A Harbor Freight saw. Say all you want. I built 10. I'm definitely more than the average DIY user. And it's held up great. The stand I got for free, believe it or not. Come to find out, the stand is a table saw stand. So I will be taking this off and building a table for it. And putting my table saw on that, because my table saw, which is right here, is a pain. Not a pain that it's bad, just a pain to store under the bench and have to pull it out all the time. So it needs to be somewhere to where I can access it. Again, Harbor Freight. I bought this probably 10 years ago. Used it in my maintenance business, and I'm still using it. Only thing that I think sucks about it is the fence. You have to check and make sure it's square. If you're going to use the table saw, minimally use a riving knife and the grippers to prevent kickback. Somebody asked me about heat and insulation. My garage is not insulated. That's just Tyvek I put up there to keep the heat down. But that said, these are what I use for heat. The red one's kerosene, the other one's natural, or propane. The propane one is what I use primarily. I don't care for the smell of propane too much, or kerosene too much. You do it together, I can get my garage at about 65, 70 degrees with no insulation in Michigan, okay? We're a colder climate. Been fortunate this year, it hasn't been too bad. That being said, safety. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector plugged in and cut off on me, sorry. Yeah, make sure that that's there and working. My air compressor, Craftsman I've had for many years. Again, don't mind my mess. Works fine. Didn't spend a whole lot of money. I think it was like $200, and there are cheaper ones out there. So my welder, Harbor Freight Flux Core. I put Lincoln wire in it. Seems to do the job just fine. I've had it for about a year, but I don't weld much. So, but what I've welded has held up pretty well. Other than that, that pretty much sums it up. And you see, I use anything I can. That's a keyboard stand, an adjustable keyboard stand that I use as an out table for the saw. All kinds of, just be creative. Do what you can do. I know this is kind of quick. I'm going to give you a quick pan around again. Nothing special. I'm just an average guy like you guys, with a passion for teardrops. Love to build them. Couldn't think of anything else I'd rather do, to be honest with you. So just a quick pan around real quick. Nothing special. Hey, look at all that scrap wood. Had a lot of scrap at the last one. I'll find a use for it. And then that's it. Hey, thanks for coming along on a little shop tour with me. I'll see you around.